Well, that's an issue. I think we'll blame my internet connection for that one. I think we're back now. Usually refreshing it like I just did fixes that issue, at least for a while. Okay, I think we're back. We're back. You guys can listen to me ramble to some more. Oh, it restarted the thing. Weird. Okay. That kicked everybody. Okay, it does look like I'm still streaming. Okay. Weird. But no, I do think that I'll do just clear. I'm just going to do clear with a little bit of shimmer to it, just because if I do any like glitter, it will all sink. And I don't really want that to happen. Let me grab Macro Pearl, which is, I use this like all the time. This is probably what I use the most, because I like doing just clear with a little bit of shimmer. So we'll do that. How many of these do I want? I kind of think it would almost make the most sense to do like, you know, a color that matches up with each one. To be fair, these are all going to be different anyways. Like, none of these are going to match. These are all kind of a test anyways. So I might as well just kind of do the different butterflies as tests as well. So let's just do that. So let's just do like 5 of the different colors that I'm kind of thinking. I don't know which pink would be better too. Like, I think that this pink might match a little bit better. So we might do some of those pink. We'll try it, but let's do, I'm gonna do all the different colors. Like I said, I'm gonna have to remake at least 3 of these anyways, because they're not gonna match. 3, 4, 5. Oops, I did have 6 of those for some reason. 6 is fine. 6 is fine. No, I just want 5 at the most, because we're not gonna have one on the side where the drips are coming from. So at the most, I'm probably going to have like 1 on each side. Alright, there's the green. You can kind of see the little specks there on the camera. The blue, and these do glow well, which is nice. I don't need that many. I just grabbed a whole bunch all at once. Not what I was trying to do. 3, 4, 5. All right, there's 5 of the blue. Oh, 5. Hi, Beta from work. I do have questions for you when you get home too. I've been kind of half waiting for you to arrive before I actually pour resin, because I am working on your dice tonight. But at the moment, I'm just going to coat some glow-in-the-dark butterflies here in UV resin. I'm doing multiple colors because I'm working on your dice tonight. I'm at most going to be making 1 of your dice tonight. And I'm saying that because I'm trying 4 different things, so we can find out which way works the best. But I'm going to try a few different of the butterflies as well. So, and there's so many different butterfly colors. Alright, 4, 5. And I'm just coating these in a little bit of resin, just to give them a little bit of protection because I'm going to probably end up sticking them to the sides so that they don't all fall down to the bottom. I don't know how many necessarily we're going to put in here. I guess that's a question too. How many butterflies? But it doesn't hurt anything to cover a few extra because they'll probably get used in this way anyways. All right, so let's get these covered. I have my fancy UV resin tools that I use all the time. Just a couple of pins. So let's get these coated. I don't want a ton. I just want enough to just kind of protect it a little bit, which is actually easier said than done. This stuff likes to be in big drops for some reason. Oh dear. Completely stuck. Get off. Get off my tweezers. Okay. That is the issue, isn't it? Okay, let's see if I can make sure all of these are kind of pressed down against the silicone. That's the nice thing about silicone is like the little plastic pieces, they kind of stick to it, but they don't like adhere to it. Or maybe they adhere to it, but they don't stick to it. They don't stay stuck, which is the point I'm trying to make. So hopefully they'll kind of stay there. They'll cling. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. They kind of cling to the silicone, but they don't stay stuck to it, which is what I want. And like I said, just a little bit, just enough to kind of protect these if I end up needing to sand something. You know, I don't want to sand the butterflies down or anything. That's try to avoid that. Alright, let me there we go. My handy dandy tool, we're gonna move some of this over to this one. Cause this one I know is, yeah, this one's gonna try and come up. It doesn't want to stay stuck down. It's because of how I have these placed, some of them. I can kind of tell which direction these were punched out. They kind of have like a little bit of a curve to them almost. And so it sticks to the mat better one way versus the other. Some of them I could tell are in the direction where they don't stick quite as well. But I want to make sure all the wings are covered still. Alright, I'll finish covering these up. There's a lot of just kind of repetitive, not necessarily repetitive, yeah, I guess repetitive. There's a lot of like little things in making dice that take up time. It quite often makes me feel like I'm not getting anything done, even though really I'm just working on a lot of little things that all do need to get done. I was working on more polymer clay stuff earlier today. I'm just like, I'm making such a small thing and it's taking so much time. And quite honestly, it was taking so much time because I was making such a small thing. Like when you're working at such a small scale, things have to be a lot more detailed. Because if they don't have, you know, the detail, then it's the whole thing. And the whole thing is so small that it is a detail, basically. Like if I was making something bigger, I'd be able to make bigger strokes, like, they wouldn't have to be as precise. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. There's a certain amount of precision when you're working on such a small scale, which I don't know if precision is necessarily my forte, but no, I've been working on like polymer clay things all day. You wouldn't necessarily think of it taking as long as it does, but it takes forever. This is just one of those things. This one doesn't take hours or anything, but you know, it's lots of little things that just take some time. I don't know, I'm a bad judge of how long things are going to take, or things have taken. I'm a bad judge of time in general, but It's always kind of interesting to me when I'll be like working on something and be like, oh, especially like art projects. And it does really give me kind of a sense of like, there's certain like types of art that I don't necessarily do. Like, I don't really do a lot of drawing and stuff. And it does give me a lot of like respect for people that do that, or like textile stuff. Like knitting and crocheting and embroidery and all that stuff. It's just like, wow, that's a lot of time that went into that. You wouldn't necessarily think of how much time went into that unless you have done it or have been around someone who's done it. It reminds me of the, like, I think it's usually referred to as like the boyfriend sweater curse. I can hear a knot outside the door. Where you're like, it's like, never give your significant other a sweater that you've made, like, if you're not married, basically. And I saw it, like, explained at one point, it's like, it's because the person that you're giving it to isn't necessarily going to, kitty cat, I'm trying to talk about something. I'll let you in a second, but I'm working with resin. Isn't necessarily going to put, like, understand how much, like, time and effort has gone into it. Oh, the boyfriend sweater curse is like, if you make a sweater for your boyfriend, you will break up. Let me let this cure and then we'll get some kitty cat time too. And run this one more time, and we'll flip them over and run it one more time. Oh, maybe we can add this to this cup. And this is just going to be the clear with a little bit of shimmer. I don't actually want too much. I just want enough for it to be shimmery. It really doesn't take a lot for that. Plenty, because if I add too much, it'll end up kind of opaque, which is not what we want. So I'll have that over there. Because that's going to be, 15 milliliters or so. That's going to be probably more than we need. Maybe closer to 10. And 2.5 of the others. Well, except I'm going to make a little extra because we're going to have... Well, actually, I want a separate cup for the blue here, too. I actually want a secondary one. And that's because I want to do a little tester of all these colors, too. Alright, let me flip these over real quick, and I'll nuke them one more time. Oops, it's flipped. Alright. Yeah, some of these have kind of like uncured resin on the backs of them because the light didn't get there very well. So I'm going to flip them over and nuke them one more time so we can make sure that all of that resin is nice and hardened. I don't want them to be sticky. That just makes things... I'll be with you in just a moment. There's a knot outside the door. Scratching to be let in. All right, let me flip these over and turn the light on, and then you can come in and say hi. We'll see if she even wants to come in. She might just want to scratch at the door. To be fair, Fitz is the one that normally will like come and scream at the door, and he doesn't actually want in. He wants me to come out. He's like, hey, come hang out with me while I eat, or something like that. All right, we'll let those get nuked. Come on. Hi, kitten. Are you here to say hello to your adoring fans? I think she's here to say hello to her adoring fans. You'll have to leave at some point here, because I'm going to be pouring resin. Want to see the light? What's up? I have a kitty cat. Can you sit on my lap for a little bit? Here, sit on my lap for a little bit. You can't go running around. I've got pigments everywhere. But you can come sit on my lap for a minute while we get everything placed. There we go. Yeah, you'll have to leave before we start pouring resin, but you can sit there for a minute. Oh, I'm falling off my stool though. Ah, here, just a second. There we go. There we go. Now you can sit down for a minute. All right, we've got all of those coated. Hi. What are you doing? Got all those coated. Like I said, I'm not sure what colors necessarily we're going to use, but we've got them. They're now options that are available to us. Ah, I'm knocking things up. Where are you going, kitten? Are you just laying down? She's just laying down, I think. She's one of the few cats that, like, I'm chill with being in the craft room. Not while I'm doing stuff with, like, resin or anything dangerous, but she's very chill. The other cats are not chill when they're in here at all. She's not as happy to just sit on my lap and hang out, but get Fitz, or, like, if you let Fitz in here, he'd, like, still, like, try and crawl behind everything. Or claw at things that he shouldn't. And Luna wants to be in the middle of everything. So if I'm working on something, she will try to lay on top of it, whatever it is. Just like, oh dear kitty cat. Okay, and then the last thing I need to grab. So I've got these two colors in this mold so far, so we're gonna add our yellow. I don't need very much, because, like I said, it's just going to be maybe 2.5 milliliters, or really not a lot. Ah! Yes, I'm dropping all the cups. What's up? What are you looking at? No, you can't have my cup. She does try to attack things, though, which is maybe a little bit of an issue. Oops. Let's not put too much mica powder into the air. That wouldn't be good. Don't need to be breathing that in. That's not good for either of us. Alright, and like I said, we're not making very much. We're just going up to, like, the first line in here. That could be enough. We'll add a little tiny bit more. I think that'll probably be good. If we need more, we can grab some more. You better not grab that now. Yeah, you're not grabbing that now. Oh, you can't even see. I'll angle that down a little bit. Oh, no, wait, you can see the kitty cat on the top screen. There we go. We're good. You can see the kitty cat. Everything is right with the world. Alright. Okay, so we've got that for these. I think we've got everything. I just need to, I'll double check that I've got everything, but just need to figure out which butterflies we're using and put those into the molds. Are you happy, girl? And then I think we'll be all set to go. Oh, just a second, I'm just moving my leg, I'm sorry. Can I sit cross-legged? There we go. There we go. What? Yes, I'm sorry. I moved around. Alright. She's not happy with this. Alright. There we go. Now she's comfy again, so everything's right. Okay, so my thought was that we could either do a different color butterfly for each of the different colors, just kind of match it up. I think I'll move them over here for now, just to their corresponding colors. We can decide. Get this pink mat out of the way. Or we'll end up doing the same color for each one. But I do think it'd be kind of fun maybe if we did, pink butterflies with the pink and green butterflies with the green. Yeah, that's an option. Let me get all these moved over. I mean, I don't really have like a yellow, but I feel like the kind of like stereotypical kind of clearish green would work fine for the fluorescent yellow. Oh, are these still a little sticky? Might still be a little bit sticky. I think we're okay though. I'm going to be cured enough that I can handle them, which they seem to be. That's the main thing. I actually have two different colors of pink that we could go with too. There's the the like slightly darker one that's kind of a pinkish orange, which I like that color. I think like the lighter pink maybe matches the pink color of the pigment a little bit better. Sorry, there's like a hair in here. Okay. Ah. And blue. Oh, and I still need to grab another cup for a little bit more blue. And what I was saying before was that I want to do my little sample color things. And since the blue, I'm trying something a little funky here. I'm not going to be mixing this with resin. I should grab a separate thing to try mixing with resin. So I need to figure out what cup over here would be good for that. I probably should just grab a clean one, but I'm a little held down at the moment. I have a kitty cat on my lap now. Alright, those are all moved up. Hello. I know, you make me want to not pour resin so you can just sit here for longer. Because you're so cute and so cuddly. She's such a cuddly girl. She used to do nothing but, the first 2 days that we had her, she just hid under my bed. And was not interested in us at all. You were terrified of us. That's part of the reason, that's where you got your name. That's where you got your name, because you were a skittish kleptomaniac. You just hid under the bed the whole time and stole all the cat toys. And now you're a little terror, which is also fitting. Okay, let me see here. Let me make sure I've got everything. Blue. What? Hello. All right, let me just clean out this cup. Maybe we can use this one. I have these cups over here that still need cleaned out from last time I did resin. Hello! First of all, kitty cat. Okay, I have a series of questions for you. I debated messaging you, but I figured you were at work anyways. Well, first thing, I'm not necessarily making your dice tonight. I'm kind of doing some tests. We're doing 4 different things and seeing what works the best. First thing, did you want some of the glow-in-the-dark powder mixed in with your colors? That was the first thing. Because I think we had talked about that maybe. I don't remember. I feel like that was something that we had mentioned. So, glow-in-the-dark powder in with the pigments, yes or no? And then we need to... Hi. Oh yes, are you reaching for me? What are you doing? I'm glad I'm not wearing my sweater with the buttons. That's part of the reason I've stopped wearing my sweater. Yes, glow? Okay. And then, not hold hand. Yes, it is hers now. No, I stopped wearing the sweater that I have with buttons because Knot would sit on my lap and try to eat them. She does this with all buttons, which is a big issue. Second question, or I guess kind of conversation topic. All of the different butterfly colors. My thought at the moment was to do, the color that corresponds, one of those two, with the pigment, but, I don't know if you want that or if you all want all one color. Add a little bit of this. Corresponding colors. Okay, cool. And then the last thing, how many butterflies Well, actually, there's one more other thing, but how many butterflies? Do you want like multiples or just like one in each? I was thinking multiples, but I've been throwing stone, waiting by the river. Multiple. Okay, cool. Sounds like we're on the same page. The actual last thing, I don't know how much glow powder I should put in here. I guess I could put this under the UV light and find out, but the actual last thing, there's two different colors of pink. And I know that you said you like the kind of salmony ones, and I like the salmony ones too, but I kind of think that the other pink ones match better. Let's see if I could show you. Just because the salmony ones look very, very kind of orange. Yeah, you can see salmony ones look kind of very, very orange compared to this. And like obviously this is a lot lighter, but it is a little bit cooler toned like the bright pink. So I'm not positive on which one, but I was kind of leaning towards the lighter one, even though I like the salmon. I'll just mix a little bit in. Oh, actually, this causes me to have issues. That's not actually. I'll do my sample things later. That's fine. Which one glows better? They both glow pretty well. Yes, are you interested? We're gonna make something glow in the dark. I've been throwing stones. No, they're not for you. They're not for you, baby. Just a second, I gotta turn off the lights so we can see which one glows better. Yep, go up on the shoulder. Alright, let's see which one glows better. Not wants to glow. I mean, if she touches anything on this table, she probably will. So I'd say the salmon one glows better, but it glows orange. Actually, they both kind of glow orange. I feel like they both glow kind of orange. It's hard to tell from there. They look a little bit more pink on screen, I think, but yeah, probably they both glow well, but I think the salmon glows maybe a little bit brighter. It's close. Okay. Yes. Are you ready to go down? Okay, she's getting a little restless now. I can sit down again. Okay, go ahead and sit down. Go ahead and lay down again. Salmon then. Alright. That works for me. Oh, actually, yep. Because I want to let the cat out. Come on. Out you go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. That worked out well. She just left on her own. Oh, you know what I should have tested while I had the lights off? Is how much of this I should add. Also, I have way too much pigment in here now because I'm thinking about it. And I'm not going to... oh well, that's okay. I was thinking, maybe I'll just pour some off into a side thing. I was thinking of doing like my little tester chips, but if I'm gonna add the glow-in-the-dark powder, then probably not, because I want to have these on their own. Actually, most of this I'll just pour back into the thing. I'm gonna need so little, I think, of this pigment, because I'm not gonna be using a whole lot. Let me put, some of this back. I don't think I'll need a lot. I'm not gonna be doing a ton of resin. We'll find out, I guess. So let me put some of this away. Alright. Green. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of yellow now. I should have actually turned off the light. Okay. Oh, that's glowing. That's actually glowing maybe a little bit better than I thought it would. It's a little, yeah. I say that glows. Cool. Well, let's add a little bit of this to our other colors then as well. This might actually be easier in the dark, because I can see how well things glow. Kind of fun because these other colors kind of fluoresce too. They fluoresce, they don't glow. Alright. Let's see how well that glows. And I'm doing something slightly different with the blue, so I'm not even sure. We'll see how well it works with the blue. Because like I said, I'm running some experiments. And I'll run you through the experiments. I mentioned it at the very beginning of the stream, but I don't think you weren't here. Interesting. That's really interesting. That glows in the dark pink. Huh. Or orange, actually. Kind of orangish. I am so confused. That's so strange to me. I mixed in some of this green glow-in-the-dark powder with... It's actually glowing the color that it is. That's bizarre. Well, let's try mixing a little bit with this blue here and see what happens. It's not glowing this color. It is glowing the color of the pigment that I have added it to, which is very strange. Very, very strange indeed. Okay, I don't know how well this will work. This one is not just the powdered pigment. I have alcohol added to this one, a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. It seems to be actually mixing in fairly well, so that's good. Let me charge all of these back up again. See if I can show you, but it seems strange to me that it's glowing the color of the pigment I've added it to, and not the color of the this actual glow in the dark. Yeah, I could do something interesting with that. We'll see if that holds up with the resin as well, but that's very interesting. Okay, that's probably... That is fascinating. You can see that on screen too. Like, they are glowing the colors of the pigment and not the color of the glow powder that I just added to them. That is so strange to me. Is that strange to anybody else? Is it just me? Oh, that's so strange. It's almost like, so the colors, lit is powerful. It works in mysterious ways. Well, that actually works out because this glows probably almost the exact same color as the salmon ones now. It is the blessing of Stuart Semple. Weird. So weird. I mean, I do kind of wonder maybe if it's because these do fluoresce a little bit. I'm pretty sure that these, under a black light, just the base pigments would glow. It sure seems like it. And I wonder if that's doing something with the dark powder. That's so strange to me. Okay, so let me run you through the different things we're gonna try. I'll do that maybe while I start adding some of these butterflies to the insides of the molds. You wanted numbers, right? Did you want numbers or pips? That was something else I was going to ask too. I saw numbers in the drawing that you sent me. So I was assuming that, but if you want pips, that's good too. Dots, whatever you want to call them. What was I saying? Oh, for the different things. So, the blue is probably the most different. Normally when I do a Petri, I do an alcohol ink with white. And so I tried mixing some of the pigment with rubbing alcohol. And we're going to try that like it's a normal Petri. So we're going to try that with the blue and the white. For the other ones, we're going to try a few different things. We're going to mix the other three with resin and try a few different things. One of them, we're going to try just putting it on top. Numbers would make it easier. All right, that works. So let's say maybe the pink here. Actually, no, the pink I'm going to do different. The green. Let's say the green. Easier to see inside. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it matters too much. Your design is going to be, I'm not going to say simple, but it is, I guess, kind of simple enough. You don't have anything that's super complex on the inside. It shouldn't matter too much. But, so we'll say for the green, I'm going to just try mixing the pigment with some resin and putting it on top. I'm wondering if the pigment is heavier than the resin. It might sink if we put it in quick enough. So we're going to try that. For the pink, I'm going to try it like a Petri, sort of. I'm going to put the pink resin in, and then I'm going to drop some of the white alcohol ink on top of it and see if that drags the pigment down, the pigment that's going to be inside the resin. And then for the yellow, I'm going to do kind of similar to something I did before, where it's not really, you know, a Petri or anything, but oh, there's our pink ones. Let me get these out of the way. I'm going to use a pipette and kind of pipe some blobs onto the inside. And it's not really going to be Petri, but I think it could give some sort of similar-ish effect. So we're going to try it and just see how it looks. You know, it might be, you know, completely different, but it might end up being a favorite or something. I just want to try it, see how well that works. So that's the plan. I can show you what I mean by blobs. I have an example off to the side because I just finished sanding a set. So I'm just placing these. I'm trying to do kind of like one on each side, but like make it look random-ish. You know, I want things to look like some butterflies are closer together, some are further away from. Oh, stop sticking to each other. Yeah, some are closer together, some are further away from each other. Everything's just, they're just kind of flying around in there. And the reason I'm sticking them to the sides and not adding them with the resin is that these are big enough that they would sink. Oh, splatter paint vibes is the true end goal. I mean, that's something we could, you know, we could make splatter paint dice, right? That's something I could make. Like, I could just straight up do splatter paint on the inside of the molds and then pour the resin. We're going Lisa Frank. Let's see. Where do we want this one to be? Up here. Oh, for sure. For sure, we can definitely try Petri first. I'm curious to see how well it works. That's true. It is very lava lamp. It is very lava lamp. To be fair, the one I'm going to try with the yellow might end up more lava lamp-ish than Petri, so we'll see. Because like I said, that's the one where I was thinking of kind of trying to like pipe it in. Here, I'll grab the example. I'll grab the example I showed earlier. Over in my stack of things, it's in the middle being polished. But like, this is kind of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about like piping it in. Kind of end up with kind of bigger drops almost. And there's, you know, there's a few different, depending on how much I add, it gives it kind of a different vibe. That's kind of how I did the, well, it's exactly how I did the coffee ones too that I showed off at one point. So here's like the coffee ones. And it's kind of hard to see the light, but so that's just brown with some white on the inside. Yeah, it's kind of blobby-ish. So we'll try that one with the yellow. And I'll be sure to send you photos of all of these. I don't know if I will be doing that tomorrow. I'll be pulling them out tomorrow, but I don't know what time that will be at, so probably get photos on Monday. There's my little scissors. Cut off a little bit of extra UV resin there. Now, where'd it go? It blends in with my mess of a table. My table's so messy. Alright. So there's those. Here, let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. So it's a little bit difficult. There we go. You know, you can kind of see. I'm kind of trying to space them out in there. There's one on each side, but they're not like all evenly spread out. Some of them are across from each other. Some of them are right next to each other. I want to make them look kind of random in there. I think I got a weird spot. Okay. I'm just doing that with all of these. And this one has some weird extra resin as well. Alright. Try and spread these out. Okay. Got all of those placed. And I think we've got all of our sort of plans there. I did mention earlier too that I'm just planning to add a little bit of shimmer to the clear resin. Not a lot of like other glitter or anything, because I worried if I do anything bigger than just a little bit of shimmer, it's going to sink, which is not what we want. So we're just going to do a little bit of shimmer with all this, and these are just kind of tests anyways. But so we've got those. I'm going to try doing, you know, just some of the glow-in-the-dark powder with a little bit of fluorescent powder. I'm still really weirded out that it made those glow the colors there. That's still very strange to me. Got that. I was debating also just trying a Petri with this, but I don't think we need to do that. We're running enough other tests. Let me just see, make sure we've got everything, and then I think we're good to go. I think that's everything. We've got our butterflies all placed. Let me make sure, so I'm going to do this one as a Petri, that one as a Petri, just layering it, and we'll grab a pipette. That's what I'm missing. I need a pipette. Let me just double check the amount that we're going to need to. So let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 2, 4. Oh, 5, 6, 7, 8. So probably just 80 milliliters. Is my guess on this. Probably about 80 milliliters on this. Yeah, because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then these are not going to take very much at all. So we'll do 80 milliliters. I think we've got everything all set up. Yeah, that seems to be it. This has a piece of resin that fell in there. And I think we're all set to go. Let me grab my respirator. Let me grab another drink of tea. And then my respirator. And I think some new gloves. I'm pretty sure these are. Yeah, those are stuck again. And we'll be all set to go. So let's see here. Oh, I have There's some. I had this sitting next to my bin of resin scrap, so I dropped a couple pieces of resin in there. But I did finally clean out a bunch of my resin cups. Okay. Now we're ready to go. I have something to mix in. So I'm going to stand kind of muffled for a bit and be rather muffled. But that's okay. It's a good thing I ordered more gloves. I go through so many gloves. I wish there was like a better solution for gloves that didn't require me to use new gloves every time, but I use so many gloves. So 80 milliliters, so 40 of each. Let's grab our resin. So that's our thicker one. I'm going to possibly make a bit of a mess. I've had this sitting upside down because I didn't have too much left. This might just get tossed out though. I'm probably going to end up tossing this bottle out tonight. I don't think I even have 40 left. But we'll use up the rest of it. I finally got rid of my old bottle of the other kind. So I used up the last little bit of it. I'm very, very, very close to being done with this one. Usually I would pour this one first. Oh, I should have poured that one first. I don't know what I'm thinking. Usually I pour this one first just because it's a little bit more difficult to pour. But I wanted to use this up. Well, we're doing things a little bit backwards, I guess, tonight. We'll see how well this works out. Hopefully I don't mess anything up. Alright, I think this is pretty much out. I'm not going to try and scrape it or anything. I don't think it'll do me much good. So let's grab our new one of those. Oh, get our sleeves up. Alright. So I'm going to go for 40 milliliters. We're going for 80 total, and it's 2-part 1-to-1 ratio. Alright, there's 40 of that one. Let's see if it can be accurate with this one. Up to 80. I should have poured this one first. Alright, let's see here. Actually, this might work out easier. We'll find out, because it displaces it rather quickly. I'll be kind of quiet as I pour so I can actually pay attention. Well, that's the idea anyways. I don't know if I'm ever really paying attention. Let's see how that looks. Let it even out. A little bit more. Just a little bit. Alright, there we go. There we go. Actually, I think that worked pretty well. there too. I normally pour the other one first, and looks like it's a little bit heavier. The one that I pour first is normally a little bit heavier, so it has kind of a weird kind of spider webby effect because it all sunk to the bottom. All right, let's get this all mixed up. And this might take a minute. I want to make sure that it's completely mixed. So, what do I want to start? I probably want to start with the Petries. I'm going to start with your guys' Jen, just because I want those ones to be pretty liquidy so that things can actually sink. I'm going to see how well that works. I'll probably do the green one first because that's the one that I'm kind of most worried about it being liquidy for. Alright, but we'll get it all mixed up first. Oh, what have I done this week? I'm running out of stories to tell you guys. I mean, I need to start doing more interesting things. Maybe reading some more interesting books or something. Become more knowledgeable of the world. So I have something to talk about on stream. Like, I don't know. I'm still stuck on Minecraft, sorry. What have I been up to? I am finally getting some Minecraft stuff figured out, with setting up like a group of friends to play with. That's exciting. Still thinking I might record that and put it on YouTube or something. You're channeling sushi. Sushi. What do I want to eat after this? I feel like I could eat something after this. I don't think it's going to be a super long stream since, we've already got resin going, so probably another hour at most is my guess. But, maybe I'll make myself a sandwich or something. That sounds kind of good. I've had a lot of sandwiches today. I had a jalapeno and cheese bagel earlier, and then I had like a lazy man's egg salad sandwich. And by that I mean I spread mayonnaise on a piece of bread and then cut up a hard-boiled egg and put it on top of it. It's because I don't want to make more dishes. I just used the same knife for both. But I think we have some lunch meat in the fridge, so that sounds good. Oh, we have fruit. We have grapes and blueberries. I might have a sandwich and like grapes and blueberries. That sounds nice. My brother was very nice. So he got like some fruit. He got some like strawberries the last time he went shopping. And they sat in the vegetable drawer, and because they were in the vegetable drawer, I forgot they existed because I couldn't actively see them. And so I was like, next time you get like berries, could we just like wash them and put them like on a shelf in the fridge so that we can see them? Because the strawberries didn't get eaten before they went bad. Because I didn't even think about them. And I was like, you can let me know and I'll come wash them and stuff. But he was very nice. He went shopping yesterday, the day before. He was like grocery shopping. That's his rent, is he buys groceries and cooks. But he was very nice, and when he got home, he actually washed them and put them in the fridge. And so today I look in the fridge and I'm like, oh, there's grapes just sitting here. Yay. It's so nice with the new resin. As the resin gets older, it gets kind of cloudy. Like as you mix it, once you actually pour it and stuff, it's fine. But like this just looks so clear and like, let's see, it looks so clear, and it seems kind of like not as viscous almost, but maybe it's getting a little bit warmer. I don't know. It's starting to get a little bit warmer here, which is nice. I mean, I'm a little concerned because I think we might be into our 1 week of spring before it becomes summer. It always goes from like winter and then we have like a week of spring and then suddenly it's summer. And like, it's not super hot here, I guess, until like July maybe. July's always. Yeah, that's true. I am in the Pacific Northwest.
The West Coast Chris. Yeah, to be fair, if I was like on the coast, like I lived in Seattle for a couple of years because I was going to school there, and uh it's much more on the coast than where I am, and it's a lot more temperate because you have the large body of water there. That water is very good at holding its temperature. It makes an excellent insulator, and that's part of the reason that when you're on a coast, the the temperature doesn't fluctuate all that much. Um, so like it got up into like the 80s, I think, in Seattle, which is an issue because like we didn't have air conditioning, but uh, there's no air conditioning because it doesn't get super hot. You know, it got down into freezing temperatures, and there's heaters and stuff. And then it got up to like 80 at the max. But like in July here, it can get up to like 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Like that's the normal kind of high here, I think. It's usually only for like a couple of days or a week or something that it gets up to like 110 degrees Fahrenheit. But you know, it gets up into the hundreds. It gets up into the hundreds here. And then like in the winter, you know, we get down into the 20s usually. So you know, we have our 20 to 25 degree weather, and then we have our week of spring where everything's in like the 50s and 60s, and then suddenly it's like 95 degrees out, and it's like, ah! I did enjoy when I lived in Seattle, the temperate weather. Alright, this is looking pretty good. This is looking pretty good. Alright. It was kind of funny. I was watching a stream of like a larger like Minecraft streamer, and they were talking about some of the like weather and stuff where they were, and I'm like, I know almost exactly where you live now. That's kind of creepy. Sorry, like it's like, oh dear, oh no. They mentioned like a couple places, and I'm like, I know where that is. That is in the same state that I am in. Alright, let's see here. Okay, I think this is all mixed. I don't see any streaks in it. I don't see any streaks in it. Oh, what was that? The Wolf of Pennsyltucky. Ah, thanks for following. The Wolf of Pennsyltucky. There we go. I was trying to read it on the screen instead of like my little feed here that actually tells me like what has happened with that stuff. I feel like, should I be concerned for Pennsyltucky? There's a wolf there. But yeah, thanks for following. Alright, yeah. I don't see any streaks in here, so I think we're good to go. So, I think we're gonna need. I'm doing pretty good. Just rambling as always, making some dice. How are you doing? I think I need about 10 to 15 milliliters here. Let's do our how many is this? Almost 20. We're gonna do almost 20 milliliters here. Not quite 20, so let's see where we're at there. I'm trying to estimate. That was about 10. So let's try that. Oh, you're tossing around ideas for making your own dice earlier. That's fun. Have you done any like dice making before, or are you just like one of those things where you're thinking of starting it? Yeah, that seems about right. And then we're gonna add a little bit to this. I actually started making dice because one of my D&D buddies was talking about it. They're like, it'd be really cool to make dice, and I'm like, I have resin at home. I could try that. I kind of put it off for a little bit because I was just like, oh, it's gonna be so much work to try and sand them and get them even. It's just gonna be a pain, and at this point, it's just like something that I do, I guess. But it is rather fun. Okay, there's that. And that should be enough, hopefully. You 3D printed this set maybe a couple years ago. I wasn't pleased with them, so since you've been toying with it off and on. Do you have like a resin 3D printer or one of the filament ones? You got the wife and you another set today as well. You can never have too many dice. I don't have nearly as many dice as my brother does. He's always been the one that's kind of collected them. I've always limited myself on how many I have. Let's go to a little bit more than 10. So these, doing 4d6s is somewhere between 15 and 20 milliliters of resin. This isn't the most accurate way for me to be measuring this, but it's easier. And it doesn't need to be super accurate. Okay, let me... have a filament one for the time being, Beauty Planet. It sounds like I may be getting an SLA printer for my birthday. My birthday was yesterday, but it sounds like I may be getting an SLA printer for my birthday, which is very exciting. But I'm also so nervous. I'm like, oh, there's going to be such a learning curve. It's like, oh no. I'm like, I don't know if I. Oh, thank you. It's like, oh dear, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make the files and all of that stuff. It's like, oh no. It's all very fun though. I really enjoy doing 3D modeling. It's just been a while and I have to figure out how to use software. I started out in engineering. I didn't end up majoring in engineering when I finished, but I started out in engineering, so I took some computer design classes, which is all about 3D modeling and stuff, but it doesn't mean that I remember how to do it. Molding and casting. Yeah, it's a fun process. I don't like molding things as much. I don't like making the molds as much as I like using them, I guess, but I'm gonna make some more on Monday. It's very useful to know how to do that. Yeah, that's cool though. What sort of stuff do you make? So it sounds like you've done some 3D printing and molding and casting and stuff. I grew up with my dad doing like wax casting and of like metal, doing metal casting with waxes and stuff. So that's actually done. I can go up there. This is actually clear with a little bit of sparkle in it, and we're going to use that for that. And what else do we have left? Oh, and then we're going to add a little bit to all of these, except for this one, which actually I might need a little bit more alcohol in. I'm running some experiments tonight. We're trying out a few different things to see what they do. And one of them is mixing this powdered pigment with some rubbing alcohol and seeing if I can use it as an alcohol ink. So, how much I have left? Okay, we're gonna add some of this to each of these as well. A little bit of anything and everything. Masks, cosplay, props, and practical things here and there. Oh, I love dabbling. I'm definitely a dabbler. There's just so many cool things out there. I'd love to do more cosplay. Cosplay's cool. I've done some in the sense that I've done a little bit. I've done a little bit, but I don't really sew. That's something that I kind of want to get into. Start like making my own clothes and stuff because I like dressing a little funky. So it'd be fun if I could make my own weird things, clothing wise. I need to organize my craft space though, set it up for a sewing machine. But that's very cool. We've got a lot of crafty folks. A lot of crafty folks here. I don't know. I always find it kind of fun to hang out and just do arts and crafts together. That's part of the reason I stream. Is because I don't know. I kind of think of it as like, you know, hanging out with people and working on our own art projects and stuff. All right, we're gonna. I might need a little bit more yellow. That's not the most pigmented. You recently tried sewing and absolutely love it. Definitely your kind of people. I'll have to show you the painting that I've been working on stream. Oh, there's a cat hair in there. There's always a cat hair. Okay, I need to add a little bit more pigment to this. It looks like I didn't add quite enough, which I kind of expected, but I added a little bit more resin maybe than I was expecting. Ooh, that pink is so bright. I think the pink might be my favorite. It's such a nice bright pink. I don't know how bright that is. It doesn't look nearly as bright on the screen either. Oh, do you have any big projects or little projects even that you're working on right now? I love you, powerful pink. I know. I like a good hot pink. I was definitely that person who, like, in school was just like, I can't like anything feminine. I'm not allowed. It's like, pink, or, you know, that sort of stuff. And now I'm just like, it's so pretty. I've embraced my feminine side, I guess. But also, pink's just a fun color. It's just so bright and happy. Not necessarily feminine, but, you know, it's associated with that. A little tiny bit more. Let's just, yeah. I like a good bright pink. I like, you know, bright bold colors are just fun. The yellow also is really, really bright and bold. And the green, now that it's mixed with some resin, is looking so much brighter. Like, it looks almost, it looks kind of pastel almost here, and then once I have it in here, it looks so much brighter. Process of embracing pink because you release yourself from pink gender association. I mean, basically, yeah. Yeah. Alright, let's grab a little bit more green. You're reshooting one of your latest movies, so some prop boomsticks. You got your friend into punk respirators and working on some D&D minis and whatnot. Oh, fun! Man, I was gonna go back and do some theater. Just thinking about shooting films and stuff. I've done like a couple of short things. I did like a local commercial fairly recently, and did like a short film at one point for a 72-hour film festival. But back in January or February of like last year. Okay, that's much better. That's enough green. January, February of last year, I was starting to look up like local theater auditions and stuff because I was like, oh, it's been so long since I've been able to go out for theater. It'd be so fun to be able to go do some musical theater or something again. And I was literally like looking at auditions when COVID and the quarantine happened. It's just like, no, terrible timing. I finally had time. I was working full time and going to school part time for like 5 years or something. 4 years, somewhere in there. And so I had no time to do anything. And I just quit my job so I could go back to school full time and finish. And I was getting, you know, I was finally had a little bit of time. And I was just like, oh man. But that's really fun. That's really fun. Feels like you do all sorts of, yeah, all sorts of the arts. Doing prop stuff is cool too. I'm always so impressed with, like, I don't know, prop work and stuff. It's like, how did you make that? Alright, we're going to, what should I have left here? Well, I'm gonna set that off to the side. Let's to be fair, I've kind of found something fun to do. I only started doing this June or July of last year. Oh wow, it's been more than 6 months now. That's weird. Yeah, I started this because I had quit my job to go back to school full time, and then I graduated in May, which was right after the quarantine had started. It was a little weird looking for work, but to be honest, this has been working out fairly well for me, which is exciting. I'm going to fill all of these, you know, a little bit more than halfway with our clear with a little bit of sparkle. Alright, so I've definitely found, you know, fun things to do. And like I said, I did a local commercial fairly recently, and the way that I ended up doing that, and I actually felt comfortable doing it, was the fact that it was for like a local kind of like park area, and literally me being in the commercial was me biking back and forth on a path over and over again and looking at statues, being like, oh, this is my favorite statue. Like, yeah, I'm very lucky to be able to actually quarantine, I guess, which has been good. I'm also very lucky to be doing something that I love. I did also do a voice acting class via Zoom at one point, which was fun. That kind of scratched the not getting to do theater itch, which was great. Okay, this is the green. This one I'm just gonna put on top, and we're gonna see if how well it kind of drips. And I'm not gonna be particularly gentle with it or anything. We just want to see if the pigment sinks. We're trying to get kind of a Petri effect with our powdered pigments, and so we're trying a few different things just to see what happens. And I want it to have a little bit of a dome there because of the kind of mold I'm using. And these are going to be going into it. Help calm some craftiness. Yeah. Oh, alright, there's the green. I'm going to set that off to the side. We're going to see if that pigment sinks. Got a little bit extra green, that's fine. And then the pink, we're going to try doing something kind of similar. Let me squish bubbles on top. So I'm just spraying it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. It breaks the surface tension. So I'm going to put the pink on, and we're going to do something. We're going to do something kind of similar to like a normal Petri, where we do alcohol ink on top, and then our alcohol ink. We're going to try putting our pigment-filled resin on top, and then our alcohol ink. Sketching some tattoo ideas. Oh, okay, have fun. Feel free to pop in if you have anything to add. Interesting. It's just kind of sitting on top for now, but we'll see if that sinks in at all. I'm wondering if it's going to pull down any of the pink with it. That's the hope there anyways. I'm going to add some more of this pink to the lid. I have all these lids. Okay. I just had the sudden thought that, do I have all of these with the correct lids? Yeah, and I do. I'm good. I'm good. So there's that. We're going to see if that white sinks. I don't know if that white's sinking, which is kind of strange. Alright, here's our blue. In our blue, we tried mixing some of our pigment with some rubbing alcohol. So we're going to kind of try and use this like it is an alcohol ink and see what happens. It seems to be kind of spreading out on the top, sort of like an alcohol ink, but let's add a little bit more. Okay, that's going to be plenty of that rubbing alcohol. Let that sit for a second. Let me add the white. We'll see if that drags the blue down with it. That's the idea. I'm going to let this sit for a minute before I add any more. We're going to add a little bit more resin to that in a moment, but there's a cat hair in there. We're going to add a little bit more resin to that in a moment so that it's domed, but I want to give it time for the stuff to sink first. And then the last one, what was I? Oh, this one, we're going to try kind of injecting some of this into the mold, into the other resin. I'm going to pick up some of, there's always a cat hair. Okay, get out of there. So I'm going to pick up some of this resin with a pipette. Still cat hair there. Okay, let me get this cat hair off of here. This is so bright and vibrant. It's lovely. This was my brother's favorite color for a while as a kid. Alright, so I'm just going to try and kind of inject some dollops in here. I'm apparently injecting some air too. This might be kind of cool. I guess we'll find out. So there's some dollops. I'm going to try and get some kind of some different heights and stuff too if I can. Let some of that sink down. And I'm just going to fill up the bottom here with some more. I probably should have done this one later actually, because I don't know if it's going to sink or not. Because I put it with the green to see if it would sink, but oh well. I guess we'll find out. I'll put that on the lid. All right. Cool. We've got those experiments percolating, or whatever we want to call it, off to the side. We're going to need to add a little bit more resin to the blue, but I'm going to hold off on that for now. I'm going to move the resin I'm going to be using over there though. Set that up to the side. I'm using a little bit more clear, so I'll move that over before I forget. Alright, for everything else, I do want a little dollop of this in here. I want about 2.5 milliliters in here. I'm trying to do fairly even layers, and I'm fairly sure that's how much I've had in the other ones. It's not very much at all. Alright. And these I'm trying to do like a rainbow set. So I have a layer of like a red / pink in there, and then I have a layer of orange, and I'm going to do a layer of yellow. So this is going to take like 7 different pours, but you know, I've kind of been wanting to try this out for a while and see if I can get it to work. So I need a little bit more yellow. It's not quite opaque enough for me. My plan for these is either to, well, I mean, I plan to do like all of the layers of the rainbow, so like a pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. But then I'm either thinking of doing like a solid shimmery white, but I think that might be, I feel like I could do something more exciting than that. So I'm kind of thinking of doing like a shimmery clear with like clouds in it as like the other half. So doing it like half rainbow and then half like clear with clouds in it. I feel like that would be kind of more unique, which would be kind of fun. Alright, that's a better yellow. A little bit more opaque there, just a little bit more pigment in there. Alright, perfect, there's that. Let's just add this, I think. I just kind of want enough to cover the previous layer. I've just been kind of, you know, throwing a dollop in. I don't necessarily need a ton. I'm realizing now that actually as I go towards the middle it would need a little bit more because it's going to be wider, but that's okay. I think it's going to be negligible in the end, so it doesn't really matter. My layers may not end up completely even, but that doesn't surprise me. I'm not the most accurate person. Alright. There's yellow in there. Yeah, because like as I get higher on the D20 and the D12, it's round, so it's going to be wider further up. But let's see if we can make sure everything. I think it's just kind of covered. Make sure that there's actually a layer. Let that sit for a moment. This one could use some more. Let that sit. Alright. Like I said, just kind of a thin layer. If I try to do too thick of a layer, I'm not going to have enough space to actually do like a white part or a cloud part. I'm trying to do thin layers. It's hard because it's so viscous and it like sticks to itself, so it wants to be thicker, as it were. Alright, this one's. It's also not going to be perfect. I can already see like a pink part here that's sticking up, but that's okay. They're handmade. They're not going to be perfect. Well, they're handmade by me, so they're not going to be perfect. Hopefully they'll still be pretty. That's the goal, anyways. I hope they still are thematic and nice looking. Alright, there's that one. That actually looks like a fairly decent layer for the D12. D20 could use some more. Alright. Alright, so just kind of working those around. I just want it to be fairly even. It looks like it has a layer on it now. How's this one doing? This one's kind of funky. It's like a crystal D4 shape, and so it has kind of like these corners that I want to make sure that it gets into. Alright, I think that's good. Let me just add a little bit more to all of these since I have a little bit extra. There's a drop of the D6. I might as well try and use this. I'm going to set these off to the side for the moment. These are going to go into the pressure pot with everything else, but I'm going to probably end up putting them on top of some other things since these don't have lids with them at the moment. If I put a lid on, it might create a seal and it would just kind of mess everything up. I did that once and it created just a spiky nightmare D20. It worked out great. Oh, are you outside, buddy? I thought you were inside for the night. My kitty cat's at my window. I thought I'd let him inside. I wonder if my brother let him back outside. I gotta finish resin and then I'll come get you. That's good, that's good. That's good. Yes. Oops. Woo. Good thing it's viscous, so I don't spill it all over the place. Oh. I suppose I could text my brother. He's upstairs. Alright. I think there's a little bit left in there, but that's because I don't want to scrape it off on the edge of one of those. I'm just going to scrape it off into this random dump mold that I have over here. That's this one. This is just a mold I have for any extra little bits of resin. You can just put it in there. So Move that off to the side for now. Alright, we'll do this one last because it's the least important. This one is another commission. So we're going to make some black. We don't want it to be too dark, so just one drop of that. Let me stir this with. Alright. So these are kind of labradorite inspired. They're going to be kind of a darker gray. I'm going to do kind of a little bit of a dirty pour, so like the black, I'm going to put some kind of gunmetal gray in there, some kind of shimmery in there. And then it has these blue holographic shapes in it. Yeah, that'll be good, I think. That'll be a slightly lighter gray than I've done before, but I think that'll be good. I think. I probably should have put this in a different cup so I could see how dark it is. That's okay though. Alright. Let me add my gunmetal gray to here. So a dirty pour is just where you have everything in the same cup and then pour that cup into your mold or onto your canvas or whatever medium you're working on. But basically everything's all put together, not necessarily mixed together, but in the same container, and then pour it in or on. That's what I'm doing here, and it's literally just the two grays together. But it kind of swirls things a bit, which is kind of nice. I like doing a good dirty pour. I could add like a black. Oh, I could add some black alcohol ink too. I'd add some like striations and stuff, which might be kind of cool. But I don't know if I want to do that or not. Should I do that or not? I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I try adding a little bit of black ink, which will do kind of like some dark lines in it? I'll do a little tiny bit. Little tiny bit, but not very much at all. I'm even gonna kind of swirl it in a little bit. All right. We're gonna fill these in. And I'm going to be adding, some more of this blue on top. Ooh, I might need some more resin. That's actually okay though. It's gray, so if I had a little bit of clear, it's not going to be super noticeable or anything. Also, if I scrape this out, it's not going to be too big of a deal. I'm going to add just a little bit more clear here. I need just a little bit more. A little bit more. Mix that in. It'll be slightly lighter gray, but since it's gray, it's really not going to be super noticeable. And actually, if we even start putting our little ones for this side in. So I want some of these kind of blue holographic pieces on all of the sides. I want them to be, kind of visible. That's the goal anyways, kind of make it look. It has that fun shiny part on all the sides. This is why I put the other things in first, because this is going to be difficult to angle with the tweezers. Alright, there we go. Got that in. I do have a concern that some air is going to get trapped underneath these, but hopefully we can prevent some of that. We'll see. Alright, there we go. I'm going to spritz these with some rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol? Is that isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol? Yeah, that's the same thing. And that just kind of breaks the surface tension a little bit. Hopefully get some of these bubbles to pop. Hopefully we'll have more bubbles come to the surface too. And we'll be able to pop them even more. But this is one, like I said, I'm a little bit more worried about air bubbles getting trapped in it. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Alright, and then let's... things kind of sank in here, but I don't know what exactly it did. It's going to be interesting to see. This was our blue and white experiment, so I don't know that that's going to have the desired effect, but it's going to be interesting at the very least. So, alright, so we've got a little bit of extra resin here. That's fine. And then this actually I want to use to cover the lids here. I want to have like a little bit of extra resin both on the lids and in the molds, because I'm going to be putting these in a pressure pot. And so if there's little tiny air bubbles in the resin, they will get squished down really small. And I need to have a little bit of extra resin to fill in that space. And then I also put it on the lids, because I don't want to trap any air in between the molds and the lids. It's more of an issue with the ones that have like numbers on them, because air likes to get trapped around the numbers. But it's just, I feel like it's a little bit safer that way. Actually, we might have almost the exact right amount of resin for this. You know, I might as well do everything else done. Yes. I'm just going to pour this in here. And that's some glow-in-the-dark pigment. Just going to pour that in there. I'm just going to mix it up in this container. I might as well. Doesn't really matter. Hopefully that's glowy enough. We'll find out. This is Lit from Culture Hustle, Stuart Semple. And it's like the glowiest glow-in-the-dark powder. So I'm thinking a little bit will go a long ways. I still think the weirdest thing with this is that I mixed it with these pigments and then put them, you know, under a light for a minute and turned the lights off. And they glowed the color of the pigment and not the color of the glow powder that I added. It's still very strange to me. Very strange. I'm making a set of dice that I've kind of made before. It was with a different glow-in-the-dark pigment that isn't nearly as powerful as this. But the idea was kind of radioactive, toxic waste sort of dice. So I'm just adding some fluorescent green. And so I'm going to be putting that into the mold, and then I'm going to be streaking some like black through it. So it's just kind of fun. Use a little bit more green. I don't want to add so much that it like overpowers the glow in the dark, but I think I'll be okay. I also don't want to add so much that it's settled again. That's probably what my issue is. This one settles really quick, I've noticed. Let me mix this up. Oh. I think it's going to be a shorter stream tonight, actually. I'm kind of excited to see how all of our different experiments work. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if any of those will work necessarily, but even if they don't, we've got some other options too. I'm just looking at them now, and it's hard to tell, but yeah, I'll let you in a minute, buddy. I'm in the middle of something. Oh, buddy. Yeah, I know. My cat is right outside the window here. I thought you were inside already. If you just hang out for a minute, I'll come get you. Alright, it's looking kind of more green. I think I wanted a little bit more green than that even though. I know, buddy. Oh dear. I was wondering why he hadn't come to scream at me outside the door yet. I had not stopped by already. Hang out for a bit. Yeah, I know. You know what I could add to make it a little bit more fluorescent green? I'm going to add a little bit of that fluorescent green color. That's a great color for this. We're gonna add a little bit of that. We're just gonna, that's a great idea to get rid of the rest of this. And it has some of that glow in the dark powder in it too. Might be a little bit grainy, but that's okay. I'm almost done, buddy. If you just hang out there for a minute, I'll come get you. He's a very good cat. He's the only one of my cats that's allowed outside. And that's because he comes when he's called. I can walk out there in the evening before it gets dark and call him inside for the night and stuff. My other cats are not nearly as good about coming when called. Oh, there we go. That's a good green. Perfect. There we go. That's much more green. Oh, you know, actually, this is going to be a good green. I don't have a good, like, green alcohol ink, which is something I've expounded upon many times in the past. So, I have a good fluorescent green color. Alright, let's get these poured. I'm not going to pour, you know, all the way up to the... I'm not going to pour all the way up to the very, very top, because I do want to have enough room. Oh, what is all this? There's a cat hair stuff on this one. What's going on there? There's like white flecks on this one. Weird. Alright, I think I got that fixed. The quest for green. Shall be a long and arduous one, but we shall prevail. Onwards into the unknown, into the verdant, and the wild, and the strange, and the bizarre. Nice. Yeah, you just hang out there, buddy. He's just laying outside the window now, like a good boy. Alright, so I'm going to pour this into all of these. What's that? Yes, I'm going to fill it up like almost all the way. Like almost all the way to the top. Alright. I do like this kind of fluorescent green color. Oh, there's a weird piece of like resin that's in there. I did have this cup right next to my random resin scrap bin, so it's possible something fell in there that I missed, which is what I just pulled out. It looked like an old piece of resin. That is out now. Yeah, the powder pigments are maybe a little bit grainy, but I think I could get around that if I actually like put them through something sort of to, I don't know, sifted them, I guess, or I don't know the word is I'm looking for. There's more cat hair on my D6. Alright, and D4. So the plan here, actually I have quite a bit left. The plan here, buddy, you can just wait a minute. What I'm going to do is, where's my, I have a spare one of these somewhere. So I'm gonna grab another popsicle stick, not popsicle stick, coffee stirrer. They're like popsicle sticks, but tiny. And I'm gonna cut it at a little bit of an angle, just because I think it'll be easier that way. My scissors are stuck in my finger. I'm gonna take some of this black, and we're gonna run it through. This black apparently needs mixed up too. go. That's better. But we're going to take that and we're just going to kind of run it through the green in here and kind of swirl it around. We're trying to get some like nice inky swirls in there. And I'm going to do that for all of these. I might not add more black for all of them. Depends on how big they are and how much is left on the thing. Yeah, both the D12 and the D20 are rather big, so I'm going to add more black for both of them. Maybe not for like the D4. There might be enough left on here. And it's okay if they don't all have the exact same amount of black swirl too. Alright, let's add now. Add a little bit more. Oops, I just dropped some. That's okay though. I'm just kind of mixing it up a little bit. We're going to be adding a little bit more green on top. Like I said, I didn't fill these up quite all the way. And so it should hopefully help even things out a little bit as well. Really nice, I think, to have a little bit of a mix. Some of them have a little bit more black. Some of it has, you know, a little bit more on one end. There's something kind of nice. It's fun when things match but aren't exactly the same. At least, you know, maybe that's just me. You know, I like switching things up a little bit. I was making some polymer clay pieces earlier today. I was talking about this earlier. I'm making these red hands for a commission that I'll probably be working on probably on Wednesday, I guess. I'll probably make those on Wednesday. That should be enough black. And they're all red hands, but they're all just slightly different. They all have like slightly different poses to them, the different sizes, slightly different shapes and stuff. Yeah, I feel like it just adds a little bit of interest if there's some variation. It wouldn't be nearly as exciting if they were all exactly the same and looked like they were just carbon copies of each other. There's something fun about them being unique. And to be fair, that's kind of one of the joys of handmade dice is that they're all unique. Even if they're exactly the same, they're never going to be exactly the same. Because if I do the same design twice, they never end up exactly the same. Even if I do the exact same thing, they're always going to be at least slightly different. Alright. That was probably way too much. Alright, I think we're good. I'm going to add a little bit to the lid as well. There's that. What time is it? Okay, it's not super late yet. I'm debating. I don't want to go yell for my cat outside if it's super late. That just seems rude to the neighbors. But this is, like I said, I think it's going to be a fairly short stream. Or, yeah, it's going to be a fairly short stream, probably only around 2 hours. I like how that's become a short stream for me. I know when I first started, I think when I first started, a normal length stream for me was about 2.5 hours. And somehow I don't know, started waffling on more and more or something. A normal stream for me now is like at least 3 hours. Anyway, I'm just spritzing everything down. This is isopropyl alcohol, and it breaks the surface tension a little bit, helps things to get all the bubbles to pop on the surface. So I want to make sure that I get all the bubbles popped on things before all the lids and everything go on. I don't want there to be, if there's some small bubbles, it will be fine. But I don't want like large pockets of air trapped in there because that can cause gaps. Gaps in the resin after it's cured and stuff, and it doesn't look great. No one wants that. Where's that dark spot from? Get out of there. putting some lids on. Yeah, this one I think is going to end up looking more frosty than anything, but this is why we're experimenting. We're trying out these new pigments, and we're finding out what we can do with them, and finding out what's going to look the best. So, all right, there's the yellow one going on. I just want to make sure that all of my lids, I don't want to push them down or anything, because I do want that, you know, a little bit of extra resin there, but I do want to make sure that all the lids are in the right spot and that they're going to sink into the correct spot. I'll sometimes stack one on top of another just to make sure that everything is you know, pressing into the correct spot, even if it's not like, without squishing it completely. And make sure that all of those little keys and everything are. Let's take out some of this. That's just extra pigment that's going to get in the way of curing. My normal issue with the Petri method, I have trouble with the Petri method for some reason. It just gives me trouble. Quite often, like, things just end up not curing quite right, because if you have too much pigment, the resin won't cure properly. So I'll end up with either too much pigment and this didn't cure properly, or not enough pigment and it didn't sink enough. But that's the other reason we're running tests, I guess. Trying to figure out what technique's going to work. Looks like that's all lined up. Alright, we've got this, which seems to be doing pretty okay. Make sure I have all of my, here's the one that I used for this. Make sure everything is in place before I, where's the, looks like one of the pieces of paper wants to try and sink, so let's see if we can grab that and angle it properly again. Because I want some of that blue on all the sides. Alright. And it looks like there's not too many bubbles on this one actually, but we'll spray it with a little bit more rubbing alcohol. I was thinking about rubbing alcohol, like I wouldn't want to add so much that it was like all rubbing alcohol. It doesn't affect curing, which is the important part here. Doesn't make it so it doesn't set up or anything. Alright, let's put this lid on. Alright. Looks like everything's in the correct spot, which is the important part. I'm going to put these all together. And these are very bubbly. Alright, let's see here. Got my stick. I'm going to, you know, kind of try and get any bubbles popped. Like I said, they like to try and like hang out around the numbers. If I can get those out of there. That is for the best. Alright, that's looking good. There's still a lot of bubbles on the surface of this though, too. I don't know why it's so bubbly. Seems kind of strange. Oh. I'll let those sit a little bit longer and let some bubbles rise to the surface. These are ones that are going to be going in with the lids off, but we still have some leftover resin. So let's try and do some of that. This is just a little spare D10 mold. It's not a spare mold, but when I have leftover resin, I've taken to just like oh, what's the word? I don't know what the word is I'm trying to use. I guess using it as dump molds is kind of what I was trying to say. I added a listing per request on my in my shop for raw sets of dice, and so I have it set up so that you can get like raw mismatched sets of dice. And so I just make all sorts of. I've been making some random sets of dice. Apart from this, though, I will be grabbing some D4 molds, and that's because when people order a set of dice for me, I usually send like a bonus random D4. So I've been doing that for a while now, where I just do a bunch of random D4s as my dump molds. Alright, let's fill this in with, what was I using this, the clear here? Let's finish off this clear. So we'll grab a couple of those as well. Those are just useful. Do I have... Oh, that's something I should do. I just realized. Well, let's use this. Usually when I make a set of... I set those. I've gone blind. Where are the spare... Where did I set the spare little blue things? Oh, they're right here. Usually when I do a set of dice, I will do like a keychain dump mold and stuff too. Until I realized that I haven't done that for this set yet, so let's do that. See what we've got here. That looks nice. I kind of like this one. Let's do that one. That was kind of funky. Do that one. No, I try to do it like a keychain that's with like the extra resin. I usually do like an extra die as well. I don't necessarily do that with the fate dice. I'll just do like a random extra die that I have for like the D6s or the fate dice. Sometimes I'll have like a dump mold, but not always. So let's use this as a dump mold instead. Because I don't know, it's kind of fun. I feel like it's a little added bonus. Little. I try to send like extra dice when people order dice, because I figure if they're ordering dice, they use dice. It's like I want to send them something that's useful to them, not necessarily something that's just random and they're never gonna want or they can't use. And then with like the custom dice, the reason I do keychains is because I figure that most people, if they're ordering a custom set of dice, it's because it's for something that matters to them. Which, I mean, maybe not always, but you know, I feel like a lot of people, they get them for like a character that is important to them, or a location. You know, if they're going to be putting that much like time and energy and money towards a particular idea, you know, usually it's going to be something that matters. And so I figure keychains are nice because, like, if it's something that matters to them, it might matter enough for them to want to have some sort of keepsake of it besides just dice, something they can lug around with them or something like that. But that's part of the reason I do keychains. So there we go. It's simple. It's just a simple thing, but it's literally just like a little dump mold. You know, I just want it to kind of match. Set that off to the side for now. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting my sleeves up. There we go. Sleeves up and out of the way. Get the bubbles out of there. The bubble in the bubbles especially like to be in the zeros of the molds. Okay. Alright, there's our D10 dump mold. Here I have a D4 here. This is a good one. I think we'll do this. I think we'll do just a D4 that kind of matches our swirly set, our you know, radioactive waste, toxic waste set over here. It's funny. I live fairly close to a nuclear reactor, um, and it's just kind of funny hearing about that sort of stuff in the news because just like I don't know, it's just there. There's pros and cons to it. Like I don't know, it's not necessarily as crazy as people hype it up to be. All right, I got this black. Maybe we'll do a couple of D4s like this. I don't know. These are just kind of fun. Alright. This is one of the few molds that I have where I do actually press the lid on. It's a kind of a different style. Maybe I should do like a D12 or something. I can always use more D12s. Maybe try doing a D12 in this style. To be fair, I don't know necessarily how many people are actually interested in like raw mismatched sets. I do think that at some point I might go through that box, depending on if people are interested. I've sold a couple of sets, but I might go through that box and actually make some sets and like clean them up and just sell mismatched sets too. Because that's just kind of fun. There's something fun about sets that like kind of match but don't. Like maybe they all have the same theme. I did a set of bee themed dice fairly recently. I'm going to be working on a set of blackberry themed dice. I made some blackberries the other day on stream out of polymer clay for a set of commission dice where all of the dice are going to be different. And those are kind of fun sets to do. Let me. Oops. Well, that's not very useful. Alright, well, add this to the lid. Ooh, what's on the lid? I really should clean my molds off better. I end up with all sorts of little scraps and stuff on them, which just makes them a pain later on. Oh dear. Hindsight, foresight, wouldn't you? A little bit of this left. A little bit of these left. I think we could do a die that's just those. I think that'd be nice. We'll do a D4. So let's go down a D4. Actually, wait. I'll do a D4, and this may end up as Hey Jen, here's a question for you. You have D6s. If I sent a extra die along, it'd just be a dump mold, so it'd probably be like whatever random colors that are left over from things. You have been summoned, yes. Would you prefer a D4 or a extra D4 or an extra D6? At the moment, I'm just throwing all the stuff in a D4, but I'm gonna have to remake your things anyways, one way or another. So I'm sure I will end up with extra resin from whichever our final extra D6. Oh, okay. Sounds like a plan. You might end up with like a bonus pipped one or something. I feel like that's something I kind of like to do. If I kind of like to if people have gotten like a set of D6s with like the numbers, do like a bonus D6 that's pipped, or vice versa. I don't know why. It just amuses me for some reason. To be fair, sometimes people just end up with random ones too, because I don't have like extra for that, but I'll focus on the keychain. So you'll probably end up with an extra D6. It may or may not match your set at all. It really just depends, because I tend to focus on the keychain as a dump mold. Yeah, I just think there's something fun about it. To be fair, it's easier for me to use the. Well, there's pros and cons for using the pipped versus the uh, numbered molds. My pipped molds, I don't have any of them by themselves. They're all in groups because I have, 4 masters for the pipped ones. So like my molds for the pipped dice are in. I either have to make like 2 at a time or 4 at a time. And so that can be, easy or difficult depending for making like individual ones. So like I made some for beta recently. For those of you who don't know who beta is, they're also in the chat quite often. And every die in that set was completely different. And I feel like it's just safer to do that. If all of the molds are separate, whereas like with this mold, all 4 are together. And so my D6, my pipped D6 molds, they're kind of all together. But I have some that are in like groups of 2. So those work well as dump molds. Yeah, here, like here's a set of 2. I actually had that over there because I was going to use it as a dump mold, and then I ended up not using it as a dump mold, but... Alright, I think that's all of the resin. Alrighty. That out of the way. I think we've used everything up. I'm going to spritz everything down one more time just to get all of the bubbles. Again, it kind of breaks the surface tension. Gets all the things on the top to hopefully I'm bursting all your bubbles. All these bubbles. I need to fill that with some more rubbing alcohol. But let's make sure everything is all set. I'll put all these lids on. I may or may not. It's gonna be close, so I might have to refill the my air compressor a little bit, which is loud, which means that I'll probably sign off before I actually put these in the pressure pot. So we'll put these lids on, and that's probably gonna call it a night after that. So we've got a couple more minutes, but just giving you all a heads up. So let's get some of this. Like I said, this is my one mold that I have where I do actually press down on the lid. And it's because it's kind of sunk in, and if I don't do that, it will have a raised face. So I gotta actually press down on that one. Alright, there's that one. The rest of these I just want to make sure they're in the right spot. I'm kind of, I'll be making more molds on Monday. I make molds every other week. And I've kind of been rethinking how I'm going to make the keys on my molds. So that's like the indents where they then line up. And I have kind of an idea for how I'm going to do that slightly differently. I'm going to make it so that it's angled so that they will rest in place and not like click into place. Like, it's never been like a big issue or anything. I just think it would be easier for me as long as I know that everything's lined up. I don't know why that bubble's on top. Okay. Let some of that evaporate maybe. These are very bubbly for some reason, but not much I can do there. Alright, let's start getting these set up. That's nice. Alright. Actually, let's set that one on. That one seems to be resting there nicely. That bubble. Yeah, their bubble. Yeah, this is. I need to start thinking of some new designs. I mean, I have some that I did fairly recently. They're maybe a little interesting, but I don't know. I tend to. I don't know. I was looking at some of the stuff that I've made, and I'm just like, it's kind of simple. It's like, I feel like I should do something that's a little bit more exciting. I like to do stuff that's thematic, like things that kind of follow a theme. It's kind of funny. Because I was chatting with a couple of other dice makers a while back now, and I was like, I don't know what my style is. What's my dice style? And the consensus was that I like to do things that have a theme to them. I like to do things that are thematic, and that's true. And that was like my original plan for dice and everything too. My original plan was to try and do like dioramas in dice, just little dioramas. I still want to do some of that. But I still like having a theme. Like I like that these are like toxic waste themes sort of thing. Like they have something that they relate to. But I kind of want to start doing some more like complicated ones too. I kind of do want to try doing some more like actual diorama ones. I tried making some geode dice fairly recently with like I actually made myself a new mold too to make some even more resin crystals. And I want to try doing that again. Those I ended up keeping because, well, one, because I really liked them, but two, because the crystal kind of clusters that I made, some of them were just a little bit too big, and they pressed against the side of the mold and completely warped the numbers. So like they're still readable, but like that's not what a 9 is supposed to look like, sort of thing. Put that there. So I kind of try doing that again, see if I can get that looking a little bit better. Alright, make sure everything's lined up there. See, this one I don't have that set very well. Okay. Alright. How's this one looking? This one's got a little bit of a bubble there. Well, as we wrap things up here, because this is the last one that actually has. I didn't get that bubble. This is the last one that actually has a lid. But no, as we wrap things up here, thanks for stopping by, guys. I do stream every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I wonder if I should stream a little bit later on Saturdays. I've noticed that like there's not usually as many people here on Saturdays, but people do maybe show up a little bit later maybe on Saturdays. So I don't know if that would work better for people if I started a little bit later. And there's options, there's different ideas and stuff. But I'd be interested in getting some feedback on that. But no, I do stream every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I can talk. I know words. So I will be here again on Wednesday, doing more commissions. Actually, I have some ones that I need to work on. So I think that is everything for tonight. Yeah, can't think of necessarily anything else. If you ever want to come and chat about arts and crafts or D&D or anything like that, I do have a Discord. Oh, I like how when I click on my chat, it tells me my chat rules. Okay. There we go. So yeah, if you want to come hang out while I'm not streaming, but chat arts and crafts or D&D or whatever, feel free to come join us there. But hopefully, I will see you guys again on Wednesday or sometime after that. So have a good night or morning or whatever time it is for you. And I will see you guys later. Bye!